Hey everybody, my name is Ari and welcome to 4-Level English. Today I'll be talking about vacations in 4 different levels: beginner, intermediate, difficult or hard, and native level. So if you find that one level is too easy, skip to the next one, or listen all the way through to enjoy the entire story. Every section will be 3 minutes long. So thanks for coming to my channel. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and leave a comment with what you would like me to talk about next. Today's topic is vacations. Have you ever been on vacation? Are you going on vacation soon? What is your favorite place to go on vacation? Recently, I went on vacation to 2 places. The first place I went to was Japan. Then I went to Hawaii. I went to Japan for 2 weeks. I went to Hawaii for 1 week. In total, my vacation was about 3 weeks long. We took a plane from New York City to Tokyo. It was a very long flight. The flight took 12 hours. Who went on the flight? It was me, my wife, and my 2 children. My son is 11 years old. My daughter is 5 years old. I was nervous because this is a very long flight. This is the longest flight that they have ever been on. This is the longest flight my wife has ever been on. And this is the longest flight I have ever been on. We did not know what to expect from this flight. When we boarded the plane, it was a very large plane. It had 3 seats on one side, 5 seats in the middle, and 3 seats on the other side. The first class section was very big. In fact, it had beds instead of seats. I had never seen beds on an airplane before. I knew this was going to be a memorable trip. Once we got on the plane, the flight was very easy. In fact, I didn't know how we would get to Tokyo from New York. But we actually flew over Canada, over Alaska, over a little bit of Russia, I think, and landed in Japan. The most entertaining part about the flight was that it was a Japanese airline, so all of the safety videos were Pokemon themed. Do you like Pokemon? My son loves Pokemon, so he was very excited that the safety videos were not boring. When we arrived in Tokyo, we were very jet lagged. Now, jet lag is when you change time zones, and we had changed 13 hours. In New York, it was 13 hours earlier than it was in Tokyo. This really messed up our sleep. So we were jet lagged, meaning we couldn't sleep at the correct times, and it took a long time for us to fall asleep, or we would wake up too early. One thing I learned about Japan is that the sun comes up very early. In the United States, because we have time zones, the sun usually comes up around the same time every morning, maybe between 6 or 7 a.m. Now, in Japan, you would start seeing the sun come up around 4 a.m. This was wild. We did not expect it, and we had our shades or curtains open on our windows, and we were all woken up very early by very bright sunlight. The following days, we made sure to keep our shades closed. Every hotel has blackout curtains, which keeps all of the sunlight out of your room. If you put on blackout curtains, it feels like nighttime all the time in these hotels. That was helpful to help us get our sleep regulated. It didn't matter that we were tired, we had a schedule to keep. So we walked around Tokyo. We stayed in a section of Tokyo called Ueno Park because we had children and we weren't really interested in the nightlife of Tokyo. However, Ueno Park was a beautiful area to stay in. There was lots of walking and lots of little restaurants called izakayas. There were also little bars and little ramen shops. My biggest excitement though was how cheap everything was. Food in Japan was much cheaper than food in America. This was exciting for me because when the bill would come after we were finished eating, I was always surprised how cheap it was. Sometimes you would pay $300 for a meal in America, but in Japan, that same meal would cost maybe $60, and it even tasted better. But besides the food in Japan, the sights were very cool to see. There were so many temples and shrines and different things you could do in Japan. In fact, we did so much stuff in 2 weeks that we felt like we needed another 2 weeks to do even more stuff. Unfortunately, we could not stay in Japan for another 2 weeks. So we stayed in Tokyo for 1 week, Kyoto for 5 days, and Osaka for 2 days, making our grand total of days in Japan 14 days. In my opinion, the best city that we went to was Tokyo. It was so big. There were so many different areas. If you liked anime, you could go to Akihabara. Akihabara was amazing. We went to a maid cafe in Akihabara called At Home Cafe. My daughter really likes what she calls Japanese princesses. So we ate at a maid cafe and she loved it. They treated her like royalty and she loved being treated like a princess. We also went to a part of Tokyo called Shinjuku. And Shinjuku was really touristy, meaning there was lots of tourists walking around. In Ueno Park, there was not many tourists walking around. In fact, I felt like I was the only tourist in Ueno. I would see people every now and again that weren't Japanese, but it was very rare. Another reason I enjoyed my stay in Ueno Park and Tokyo was the city was very organized. When you would ride the subway, they would be very crowded trains. However, nobody was talking. In fact, maybe 3 times I heard people talking, but the talking was very quiet. In America, and especially in Philadelphia, the subways are very different. Very different. I won't go into why, but they're just very different. I much prefer riding the subway in Tokyo. Now, we had the opportunity to ride the Tokyo subway at rush hour, meaning we were packed in very tight in each car. My daughter did not really like this. She had a little bit of anxiety, but when we shushed her a bit, it was no problem. However, we did move on from Tokyo and we did stay in Kyoto, which was okay. However, Tokyo was a little bit touristy. In fact, I felt like there was almost more tourists than Japanese people in Kyoto. We did some karaoke in Kyoto. We got to eat some very good sushi. In fact, we went to one sushi place that I felt like if you went to America and had this same type of sushi, you would have paid probably upwards of $400 for just this sushi for 4 people. But when the bill came and it was $60, I was blown away. I mean, this is the best sushi I've had in my life. And it was just this tiny little restaurant with just one chef cooking away. We got to go to an izakaya, which was really cool. Izakayas were fun because during the day, you'll notice the Japanese people were very reserved, quiet. They kept to themselves and they didn't bother anybody, and you didn't bother them as long as you were following the rules. Well, the rules dictated by society and etiquette. And then at night, they would go crazy. In fact, we would go down to Ueno at nighttime to go to like a little bar izakaya with the kids, because you could do that. And the amount of people that were completely drunk, completely wasted, completely hammered, walking around, being carried around was wild. I mean, I've been to some party parts of America, and I've never seen anyone get down like this. And everyone was super friendly and having a great time. So it wasn't even like it felt dangerous or too wild. However, I did really enjoy Tokyo more than Kyoto. And then our last 2 days in Japan, we stayed in a place called Osaka. Now, Osaka, if you've never been to Osaka, it's kind of like a little bit grittier. I don't want to say dirtier, because it's not really that dirty, because I come from a city that's very, very dirty. And comparing Osaka to my city, you could basically eat off the floors in Osaka. However, we went to an aquarium. They had a whale shark at the aquarium, which was breathtaking. I mean, when you see a whale shark in person, like, and it was a baby, it's like the size of a car. It was wild. I'd never seen a whale shark in person. They had all sorts of cool fish there, and there was plenty of space for the fish to move around, so I didn't feel like it was like weird in captivity. This is actually one of the reasons we skipped the Ueno Zoo, because a lot of people were saying that the Ueno Zoo was like really small and the animals looked like they were kind of going stir crazy, and apparently Japan doesn't have a good track record for keeping animals safe or taking care of them. I don't know. That's not my opinion. That's just what I read online. And as we all know, you can always believe everything you read online. But also, we just didn't have a lot of time. We went to a science museum in Ueno. That was really cool. But overall, the trip to Japan was probably the best traveling I've ever done in my life. We go to Mexico every year, but we stay at a resort and we kind of just drink and eat. And that's basically all we do. We did sightseeing before, but now that we've been there a few times, it's like we just go there to relax. Tokyo was amazing. In fact, we are already planning our next trip to Japan. We want to go to Tokyo again. We want to go to Hiroshima, and I think we want to go to Nagoya, but we have lots of time. We're going to try and do it again in 2 years. Have you ever been to Japan? Do you like traveling? Let me know in the comments down below. I really appreciate you watching my video, and I wish you the best of luck on your English learning journey.